Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to Show and Tell number 304. I hope you guys have yourself a beverage you're enjoying and are ready to tuck in, sit back, relax, and have a little chitter chat. So it's been a non-functional week for me. Just household wise, got lots of stuff done. Crafting wise, not so much. It's like, other than coffee time in the morning or knitting socks on my walks, I really haven't had a ton of time. So it's been rather fascinating. I always forget when I'm in here cleaning that just a little inch on the bottom of that window creates glare that shoots straight up and throws everything off again. So got that fixed. Anyway. That's what I mean. I did a lot of big cleaning projects, a lot of like the spring cleaning type things that, you do once or twice a year. And it heats up so much time. It's such a time suck. And I told you guys last week, it's those little things that just take bites and nibbles out of your time, and you're trying to get things done, and somebody stops you and it takes you like 30 minutes to get back into what you were doing and stuff. And anyway, even at night when I'm trying to like sit down after dinner and do some crafting, as soon as I pick up my stuff, something happens. So, somebody will call, or somebody shows up at the door unexpectedly, or, we had some drama with our freezer, things like that just suck the time out of your day. So not a whole lot on the crafting agenda. I didn't finish anything. I did make really good progress on a couple of items though. But I did want to go ahead and come in here and do a show and tell, because we have some big things coming up and I wanted to let you guys know about them in kind of the crafty universe. So first off, we do have the Knit Pick summer sale, which will be starting next week on Tuesday, June 16th. We also have the Premier Summer Sale, which will be coming in July. So I know a number of you guys are always asking, like when the big sales are, when the big things are going on. Those two are upcoming. Also, Ula and Leah are getting ready to open their Kickstarter. And of course, I forgot to locate my bag from 2024's or 2025's Kickstarter and lay it out here. Where did I put it? It's got so many pretty things in it. Where is it? They are getting ready on July 1st to open their Kickstarter for this year's, there it is, this year's colors, which I will have here on the screen, obviously trying to fill in the space where I'm looking for my bag. They've announced this year's colors, the price increase on cashmere, as well as what fibers are going to be in what sizes. They're not going to be doing lace weight or bulky weight for this run. What I got from, this is the DK weight of the purchase that I made, and that's a nice hunter green that the glare is kind of blocking there. It blends in with this beautiful navy. But that's the color assortment that I got. This is the baby camel. I think all of these were camel. Yeah. So this was the baby camel for 2025's Kickstarter. So that will be starting on July 1st. That opens up. They have also brought back 400-gram cones of the undyed fiber as well. So I did want to give you the update of what the sales and things are going on. I know a couple of you guys had asked about the Kickstarter when I shared what I had gotten from last year's. I am not sure if I'm going to purchase this year or not. I do really like the colors, but I want to stick true to my no buy, low buy. So yeah. Yeah, that's all I had to say about that. So we have Knit Pick starting their summer sale on the 16th of June. July is when Premier is planning on their big warehouse sale. And then Ula and Leah are doing their July 1st, opening their Kickstarter. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. So let's pop on over to WIPs. We'll talk really quickly about acquisitions after that and media from last week. Okie dokie. So I worked on 2 pairs of socks and a blanket. I am almost completely out of my Sport DK weights in here. I did have 1 ball of the green Nordica left over, so I figured I'd go ahead and put that in my scrap can, kind of like I did with the 1 skein of the gray Urban Chic that I had. I'm not going to do a single project at this point with that yarn, so I may as well go ahead and put it into the blanket. So that has afforded me quite a bit of work here. So when I shared this 2 weeks ago, I believe, I was down here because this is where I started the year. This is one of my UFOs I don't plan on finishing this year. So at the beginning of 2026, I was here. Last time y'all saw this, I was here. And since then, I have worked up to here. We have turned the corner on the top edge. So we are now to the decreasing stage on this blanket. And if I can get this rotated without losing my hook here, I can show you what the span of colors kind of looks like. We did kind of end up a little bit muddy here in this middle section. I don't really love how that cupcake kind of came together, but sometimes that happens where something just doesn't quite smush together right. It's the pink and the tone of green that was in this section that I don't love it. But, you know, it's a big scrap can. That is kind of how these things go, is sometimes you might have one that matches up that you're kind of like, don't know how I'm feeling about that. Overall, I'm having fun with this. I did not mean for this to go from like saturated to pastel. I'm not quite sure how that worked out, but there we are. So I am not almost done. I just won't have any more yarn to put into this until I'm done with some of the baby blankets that I had started on the flatbed machine. We'll set that on the floor so I don't knock it over, because that would be about par for the course today. Just saying. I am filming this significantly later than normal. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and it's on Wednesday, the day before this is going up. So like literally we're like 12 hours away from when you guys will be seeing this. So, and I lost stitches on my sock. Great. That's just wonderful, because I am in the middle of a heel. So let's see if I can quickly pick these up, and I'll have to try to fix that later tonight. I would imagine that happened when the security guard at the hospital the other night decided to rifle through my bag. So, and then make me take my knitting back out to the car. Yeah, I wasn't allowed. Troy had a back spasm, something, he just pulled something wrong and was having trouble, but it was an unusual type of pain. So I had to take him down there, and yeah, was a little annoyed. It's something, I can take my knitting on a plane normally. I can take it into the courthouse. I can take it into the police station, but apparently it's too dangerous to have knitting needles or a crochet hook. Yeah. Although when I left, there were ladies in the waiting room crocheting, ironically. So I did start putting the heels into my hamburger socks. These are using Knit Picks Felici and in hamburger, and Premier Serenity sock in brown. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like little things just eating at my time. It wasn't anything major, but ate up a huge chunk of my time. It does hurt really bad when you do that, though. It was one of those like just constant, wouldn't abate pains. So anyway, Sherlock socks. These are Baker Street Felici, and I am using Serenity sock from Premier in navy. So last time y'all saw these, we were right here. And I have worked up to ha. These are for my dad once again. These are going to be a men's size, US size 12. So I still have a couple of stripes left to go before I hit the heel on these. I am hoping that I will hit the heel on these before the next show and tell. So that is the goal. So the plan was to make 4 pairs of socks for my dad. 2 that were kind of silly. So 8-bit was kind of silly. And Baker Street's a little bit silly, even though the socks aren't particularly silly. But the marine socks that I did using the Hawthorne for him, as well as the other pair that I have, I think are a little bit more like for cereal dude socks. So anyway, I may decide to change my mind and make something more ridiculous for my dad. I don't know. But right now that's what I have pulled. So let's go ahead. We'll jump on over to acquisitions and see what I bought. Okay, so those of you who won prizes for the Spook Your Spring Make-Along, I am very sorry for the delay in getting your prize packages out. We encountered a delay with the yarn. It was supposed to be here a week before the Make-Along ended, and unfortunately, the person I had ordered the yarn from had a delay in getting it out. Then there was a shipping delay, and it's still not here. So I made the decision to switch gears and purchase something else yarny to go in those packages. That did finally arrive. So hopefully in this weekend, as you're seeing this weekend, the prizes will go out, but wasn't anticipating that. But in having to reorder the yarn, I did encounter 2 items for sale that I opted to purchase for myself. So I did decide I want to try the Willow Yarns Stripey Sock. I'll say that immediately it popped up true to color. Beautiful. This is the color Honeycomb, and I really love that taupey gray or grayish taupe that they use there. It's kind of hard to tell like which it is. There are little streaks of tan in there and everything else too. But these are for me. These will be socks for me. I want to wear these because I am not a yellow by my face person, but I love beet aesthetic. I don't know why. I don't like creepy crawly bugs either. Also, when they re-released this, I was in love with this. I almost bought the set, but I realized even though the set was a better deal per price, really the only piece I really wanted in my home was the Snowy Mushroom tissue box. So there is a wall hanging and a coaster set that goes with this. We would never use the coaster set. That would just be something I made and never used. And then eventually I'd be like, why did I make this? And start annoying myself. Or I'd never make it because I know I'd never use it. But the tissue box cover I will use. So I did buy just the tissue box cover there. So that is what I purchased for myself. I've already deducted the $5 for the sock yarn. It was on sale. Which is part of why I decided to go ahead and buy this. By the way, this is 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. This is super slippy soft. Like this is, like if you've worked with the Felici, this kind of feels more like Felici, very thin, very soft. So I'm very excited to see what socks made out of this feel like, how they work up, because that just feels really yummy. But I've already deducted that from my running tally of money in, money out, yarn in, yarn out. I think at this point I've only bought 5 skeins of yarn that aren't to finish projects. Like I bought the DK Weight Brava to finish 2 projects. I think that is the only yarn that I'm not accounting for so far that I purchased this year, unless I had to buy a skein to finish something else. But everything else, you know, has been from my stash so far this year. So I'm quite pleased with myself. I'm doing very good on the low buy, no buy. I wish I was doing a little bit more on the having time to make and getting things made and finished and stuff. So I guess let's go ahead and shift gears on over to media real quick. All right, so First off, we did finish Ghost UK. I know why the showrunners ended it the way they did. I do wish we had had a little bit more of a although the last scene, that last little bit, my heart just kind of did things that there might have been some onion ninjas that zipped their way through the house for a moment there. But yeah, I do wish we had had a little bit more transition to the ending of that show. But I understand wanting to end on a high as a showrunner, and I guess by the time they realized they were going to run out of plot and run out of things to do, it was, you know, a tighter season projection. I would have loved to have had one, maybe two more episodes in there to kind of smooth that transition a little bit more. But that last scene did. That one was a little difficult for me. Finished up School Spirit Season 3. So I think I'm probably going to be in the minority. I hate the way it ended. And I really hate what they did for the cliffhanger teaser for what the controversy or driving antagonist will be for season 4. I think that was the easy thing to do. There was somebody else that would have been a better choice and a far more potentially destructive to the teen team that I think could have gotten things more aggressively and more interestingly and a little bit more connivingly than how they did this. I'm not very happy with it at all. Now, as far as like how everything worked and Simon's storyline and everything else, I was fine with that. I do wish we'd had a little bit more wrap up on Simon's storyline. Now, I have not been able to find it. When they go out to Kyle's farmhouse, the house set used to film the interior. Does anybody know where that is? Is that a set or is that a location? Because I want to know more about the location of the interior of that house, the farmhouse. And I'm hoping in season 4, now that things are righted with Kyle, and Kyle is friends with the kids, that we might see more of his house, because I want to know more about that. You know, one of those, if I win the lottery, I'd kind of like to reproduce what we saw between the kitchen and the sitting room and everything. And that way that back door goes out into the property. Just saying. But yeah, there were things I really liked. Struggling just a little bit where we left Wally and everybody. Struggling with that. I know we're going to have now detached storylines running concurrent, and they will eventually reconvene because they've got to converge at some point. Otherwise, the show would make no sense running these as parallel storylines. So, kind of want to see how that happens. But yeah, I'm the big teaser I'm upset with. I think that was for a show that has tried to be unique with its approach to the problems they're building for these characters. I thought that was a very cheap way to do this, especially given the relationships. I thought that was a particularly cheap way to do this, and I think you could have done it much better and given yourself potential for much more interesting things to come. So anyway, there was that. The other thing we watched it in 2 days, was The Burrows on Netflix. Yes, that was a blast. That was so much fun. I don't even know where to begin. You have a 55 and up community in the desert, and you have a creature that is killing people, and you have these 55 and up people with an excellent cast. You have Bill Pullman, Gina Davis, Viola Davis, Davis, right? I'm not losing my mind. I just had his name and now I forgot it. The guy that played Doc Ock in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. He's our main character. This was a great cast. I love Viola Davis's husband. Definitely, hands down, my favorite character. But yeah, I was very surprised. It is produced by the Duffer Brothers. There's one more series out there on Netflix that's produced by them. But I genuinely was very surprised at how good that was. Some of the reviews didn't like the last couple of episodes. They said the dialogue seemed very written by AI. And we were kind of confused because it didn't give that feeling for us. For us, it was that dry, natural conversation, dry communication. It wasn't trying to sound fancy or trying to sound interesting. The characters were just moving through time. And you kind of felt like you were riding with them on this roller coaster. I was very disappointed that people didn't like it at the end, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually pretty fun. Is it like the, oh my God, this is like the, ha? No, but it was a fun way to spend a couple of evenings wanting to know what happens next. And I did guess kind of right as to what was going on. I did guess certain things pretty dead on. But I'm just saying, if you want to give something just a little, if you want something that's like kind of like a long creature feature where they don't paint everybody as morons. I mean, everybody's acting in good faith. Everybody in our primary cast, our protagonist team, not all of them act in good faith, and everybody around them in their circles are acting in good faith. They don't always make the right decisions, but they're acting in good faith. And it's fascinating watching something unfold where these events occur. People believe you. There's not like this disbelief thing. There's not this unfathomable and run away and not talk to it. They behave like good faith people. And you almost never see that. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. The Burrows on Netflix. I recommend that. Like I said, it's not something where you're just going to be like, this is the greatest piece of literature ever. But if you want a fun way to spend a couple of evenings, I think it was 8 episodes. I would recommend probably doing 2 a night. We did 5 on a Sunday and we did the other 3 on like Thursday. Or maybe it was Wednesday. Anyway, it was good enough. We watched 5 episodes in one night and then it was my bedtime and we had to stop. But we would have totally binge watched all 8 episodes in a day if we had started it earlier in the day. So now I'm sad that we don't have anything to watch. That's where it's kind of left us. So anyway, that catches you guys up on all of this. Troy has released book 2, the 7-branch sword for the Adventure Cat. So book 2 is already out. I will have a link down below. I have not had an opportunity to purchase a copy because he published it last night. So it is officially out for purchase. That, like I said, is my personal favorite book. I like the story for this one the best. I don't know. This one feels more Indiana Jones-ish, and I really love the geographic tale and story that he wove together, pulling everything together for book 2. And obviously now that we know the characters from book 1, book 2 progresses a lot smoother. So anyway, very excited. I can't wait to get my official copy. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, fantastic day. Stay tuned for the pictures of the cats. Pet tax, as always, at the end. I love you guys. I hope you are having a wonderful, fantastic day. And as always, I look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye, you guys.